Howdy, paper engineer fans. These are the turbines to the A-10. All right, now something they have to do. See this? This is the piece that I'm making for inside here. Now, I want this to spin. I want to put the turbine blades on this, and this has to be inside here, and it has to be able to spin like a real turbine. So, you take and mark out, these are the sizes that I need. Now, if you do not have a hole punch like this, I'll show you what you can do. Now, this hole punch, see, I just take this now and I just start nipping away at the circle that I have here. And you have to snip away not everything, because the part that goes in here is your axle. Now, I showed you the other day, I believe, on how I made these axles. These axles were just a piece of plastic. Now, you take shoe glue on the plastic, and then you wrap it with paper. What you come up with is a piece like this. Now, this paper around here with shoe glue makes this axle stay really perfect inside here. And so what you have now is you have an axle that will spin. All right? Axle, bearing. Now, if you do not have a hole punch and you need to make holes like this, you need a couple of things. Where's that? Over here. Did I put it over here, or did I move this stuff? Oh no, it's over here. Okay, so this is what I use cardboard for a lot. Now this is how I had to do this when I didn't have a hole punch. I took a straight pin and I stuck it inside 4 pieces of heavy cardstock and glued it, and then held it. Well, actually I had clamps like these. I had these kind of clamps. And so I put some wood on each side of this and I clamped it down and let it dry overnight. But anyway, what that gave me is that gave me a pinpoint that I can hang on to and do things with. With your cardboard, it lets you punch these things out. And this is how I made a lot of stuff for 10 years, because I never had a hole punch. And so what you do is then you just perf around your circle, that the inside of your circle that you need, and what happens is you end up with a nice little hole like that, the size you want. And the cool thing about this is then with your bearing goes right inside there, just like that. Well, that's not wanting to go in, so that means that doesn't quite fit right. So I'm going to snip this little edge off of here, just like that. Now let's see if this doesn't fit better. No, it's still tight. Okay, so that's the cool thing. You definitely want your parts to fit well. You don't want them to be loose. And so I'm very careful about nipping these things out of here and then test fitting this, because you don't want this thing to just slide through. And it's still just too tight. It won't let it in there, because you can't deform it. It needs to be in there round. Okay, so let's see here. I should take that off of there just like that. Okay, now I need to just be very careful with this, because it's close to being too small or too big of a hole. Snip that off of there. Now let's see if this fits on here. Okay. It's still not wanting to go on there. There we go. Okay, that went on, but now it's out of shape. Yeah, well, it's going to be okay. That bearing is going to be just fine. But anyway, I should probably be real careful and make that a little bit bigger. And see that there's an easy way to make this bigger without nipping it. Now, I can't nip it anymore because the snips won't work on that. But I have this really cool box of diamond burrs. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently open that hole up a little bit. Now let's try it now and see if it's a little better. Because see, the thing is, it's too tight. Because once I wrap the piece of paper around this, then it has to slide in there. It still does not want to just slide in there. Because this piece has a piece of paper wrapped around here. I put shoe goo on it, and then I wrapped it with paper. And the reason I did that is because the shoe goo will attach the plastic to the paper so it won't slip. Then the paper that's on the outside of this attaches to this piece here. Now, the thing about this piece is it is going to be cut and fit so that I can slide it in here, and there will be grooves cut in this that'll allow this fin thing to stick through like that. That way I can glue it to this chassis part. And making working turbines is a nightmare as far as building goes. But anyway, once that is done, leave that in there. I'm going to continue to punch out this. And what you're doing is you're micro-perfing your cardboard or your cardstock. And those micro-perfs will let you take the center out without destroying your outer ring of paper. And so this is because I put my head together and I was like, gosh darn it, I don't have anything to make holes with. And then I thought about it, perforated paper. And that's what I did with this. That's how I came up with the idea of this straight pin. But if you don't have any way to make holes, this will work. It's very time consuming, yes, but it works to make a hole. And then let's see how this will go. And that goes right in there. So there, now I have two of these. And what's going to happen is this is going to go on here just like this. All right? Those are going to be on there just like so. And then they'll be positioned inside the turbine. And what it will do is it'll allow this to spin inside the turbine. And it'll stay level because it's mounted like this. Now, what I'll do is I'll put turbine blades back here, and I'll put turbine blades up here. These will be cut out so that you can actually see through the turbine. But anyway, that is the fun part about building by hand and making things out of recycled paper out of your kitchen. It's a fun hobby. It makes your brain think. You need Elmer's glue or PVA if you're in Europe, so that's cheap. The paper you get, this stuff, it's all recycled right out of my kitchen. Cracker boxes, cereal boxes, soda boxes. This is just a piece of thin cardboard. Don't use it in the build process. It's one of those kind of things where you really don't want to use cardboard when you're building something. But that is what I use cardboard for mostly. It's just making holes and stuff. And so then you have a little piece, you can throw it away, or you can use it. It makes a good porthole or a hatch on something. And they're fairly easy to clean up. You just need a sanding block. And you just go around the perfs a little bit and take them off. Or you can coat it with glue and paste it down like that. That works too. Okay, you know what? That brings us to the conclusion of this part of the turbine build for the A-10. Thank you for watching.